Hello and welcome to Analyst Hangout. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. Well, today I have amazing people as always with me, and we'll be reviewing what's been happening in the market. And of course, we'll be looking at company actions or corporate actions, definitely. Well, right here with me, I have Ambrose Obodio. He is the COO of the CRO of Invest Data Consulting Limited. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me again.
As always.
Thank you.
I also have Charles Fakroha. He's a stockbroker and business analyst. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, later on the show, we'll be joined by Mr. Garuba Kurfi, the MD APT Securities. Well, let's start with a stock market review, or let's say a review of activities during the week. Now, global stock market extend rally on U.S. July inflation reports that signal possibility of slowdown in rate hike. And back home here in Nigeria, the nation's July inflation report is expected to be released on Monday, August 15, 2022, with forecasts ranging from 19.30%, 19.50%, and 19.70%. Well, this is what some analysts are saying. Maybe let's start with you. What's your forecast?
Exactly.
Forecast for the economy. Well, we're already in the second half of the year, and we are seeing numbers that are getting to the market, and of course investors should also be very, very cautious in terms of their trading. What I would say is whatever they are seeing in the market now should not be any cause for fear or whatever. They should just stick to their trading plan, you know, and because we have a saying, you know, plan your trade and trade your plan. So investors should just continue to do that, and while we await some other numbers that will come to hit the market. All
right, so let's have your take on that. What's your forecast?
Actually, for forecast, I see the inflation hitting around 19.5 for me for inflation, and this is the first figure for the second half of the year, which is good. If don't forget that what happened in US, you know, this week, sign on that. Central Bank of the world should be thinking twice if the trend continues, because we have seen that you know, Greece leaving the war zone for like almost 2 times, also inflating global prices for 5 straight days. We have seen that, you know, price of goods internationally has dropped. Apart from here in Nigeria, that when prices go up, it doesn't come down. You can see that gasoline in US have fall from as high as $5 below $4. Now it tells you that you can see that the price of also crude oil pulling back again below $100 is also inflation activities so far. That is why volatility globally has remained on. But down here, we have seen that the companies on exchange have released impressive number, but the high cap stocks continue to move our market in seesaw movement, and that should not panic investors because market is going up and down, but rather they should take advantage of these prices going up and down and see which of these high cap stocks is now influencing the market and where you should be looking at. But I believe that those high cap stocks still have good earnings that will support their price to go higher up. But when it pull back, it creates opportunity for you to buy low. That's why I said when you see a leader in an industry pulling back with a good number, it's an opportunity for you to buy into that company.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting one. Okay, so let's have your thoughts, a review of what's been happening during the course of the week. He has talked about his own, and he's saying that people shouldn't be worried, they shouldn't be scared. It's just an opportunity for them to, you know, buy and all that.
No, of course, the market is dynamic, and on a daily basis, you see prices go up, prices come down. Yeah. Of course, if prices don't go up and come down, there'll be no opportunity. Yes. So there are most frequent buying and selling. Prices must go up and come down. It's now left for the investor. Like I said earlier, you must plan your trades, and once you have planned that trade, then ensure that you trade that plan. Of course, there could be adjustment here and there, you know. Mm-hmm. But looking at what we saw this week, you know, in fact, today when I left the market, we were thinking that there will be some improvement, but we saw that the market also went down today, Friday, by about 0.7%. Now, during the week, we also saw a Dangote cement coming down, and of course, that dragged the market down. Of course, you also saw, I think before that day, we saw the market up. So these movements, some people say sideways movement, so say jigsaw movement, seesaw movement. You know. But again, no, it's good for the technical analysts to look at that and see the trend. You know, but for fundamental investors, that is the real investors, I would just tell them they should still have their long-term focus, because if you look at the corporate performance, the numbers that are coming to the market, what we have seen so far, I congratulate these companies, and so investors should just hold on that long-term view and of course, if there are opportunities to
Take
get
advantage
into
of the short,
they can also do that.
But then looking at what's happening now, what do you think will be the impact of July figures on the stock market and the fixed income market?
Actually, when it comes to equity investment or financial market generally, there are factors that move funds from one market to the other. That will cause regular flow of income. And don't forget that this inflation comment will set a pace where you should be. Because when it's high inflation, automatically those that are in fixed income market are already in deep red. And those in equity want to hedge against inflation. You see, that means funds will be looking at which stock can I use to hedge equity, because there are some sectors today, investors don't want to look that side because what? They can't give them what to help them to hedge inflation, especially the banking sector. Banking sector, see opportunity that is there now. Prices are low. Most of the banking stocks are undervalued. Also, we're seeing factors that will drive their performance. But because the newly listed equities on the exchange have changed the pattern in the market, that those new sectors that are coming and others that are not taking the shine of banking sector. Before now in Nigeria, banking sector is the toast of every investor because of their consistent in dividend payout. But these days, because what we saw in the telecom industry, what we're seeing in the agro sector, we're seeing in the industrial sector, people are now leaving banking sector despite the consistent dividend paying because they want to hedge against inflation. Return in the banking sector will not hedge against inflation for you. For that's why I see, despite the expectation of rate increase impacting their performance, people are still looking away from banking sector. That's why I see the life of Zenith Bank just oscillating between 19 naira and 21 naira, 22. Because this quick will remain below $21. As Access Bank, touch 9 naira, come back. Why no EBA remain flat on 7 naira? Because that sector will know that they are concerned, but the returns will help me to hedge again. Because the inflation hit 19.7 mass or 20, then I'm getting a return of 14%. Even with the interest, I won't look at the World Bank.
So which sector should we be looking at now?
The oil sector, because of crude oil is almost around the $100. Even above people, like most of the big banks across the world. And also some PFAs are forecasting that oil price will hit even 130 naira before the end of the year. That means those sectors will still have what to impact their performance. Also look at the oil sector, the palm oil sector, which is the agro sector, because of the consumption and also the medical use of palm oil. The demand for that sector is, all of a sudden the life of Kumun, life of Presco will be sustained, and that's why I see investors are looking at life of a telecom company again. Are looking at MTN, looking at Airtel, looking at Tesla, looking at internal oil, looking at what was happening in Kumun, what is happening in Presco. Also looking at what Wapco and Dangote, and also look at the result that came from Boasumen. That's what it pulled back today. That is a good that will support their price. That's why banking sector is less attractive for traders like us. But for long term, they are looking for interim dividend, looking for it's a place to be because they are consistent in their dividend payout.
But what happens to the value of the money? What happens?
Okay, let me just buttress Andrew's point. Yes, the banking stocks used to be the toast of the market, and of course, because of that pivotal role they play in the economy. When the banking sector, sneezes, other sectors will catch cold. But yes, over time we've been seeing that some other new sectors are taking their shine. And of course, you can see the likes of Seplat, you can see the likes of the MTL, like he has mentioned, Airtel. They are giving returns to investors that investors are comfortable with. For me, as a portfolio manager, my firm's proprietary trade, we have started looking at these other sectors. Yes, we're heavy in some of this banking stock, but we are gradually diversing from some of course, I won't disclose my company's strategy in our portfolio, but we're sure optimal portfolio rebalancing, optimal portfolio returns. So we're looking at everything. Of course, we have the young people who look at the numbers, and of course, they give us the advice before we take decision to execute. Yes, inflation figures. Well, they say they're going to bring the figures out on Monday, hopefully by Monday, 15th, Monday. Okay. Yes, we have seen about 20%.
Good. I like that.
Yes. That's the reality. Yeah. We need to face the reality now.
Wow.
Yes, we need to face the reality. I'm seeing about 20%, and of course, with that kind of inflation rate, you will see how it's impacting. Obviously, the fixing.
But this inflation, are you talking to the official inflation or the reality inflation?
Like I said, investors will now be looking for those sectors that they believe
will yield much more than
to take your inflation.
Rates.
Because if you have a yield of 15% and inflation is about 20%, then negatively it's a negative return.
Yeah.
So, but investors, I'll still advise them, just remain calm, trade cautiously, try to remove fear and greed, at least to some level before you give your trader the order to execute for you.
All right, that's quite interesting. Well, we are joined by Mr. Kofi Garuba. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, I guess we're having challenge communicating with him.
Hello, Alhaji,
All
can you hear
right,
us?
Alhaji, can you hear us? But I guess we'll have to fix that particular one. Well, moving on, President Muhammad Buhari has reversed his authorization of Seplat Energy's takeover of ExxonMobil's shallow water business in Nigeria, throwing his weight instead behind the regulator's decline of the $1.3 billion transaction. The NUPRC had on Monday said the proposed takeover of Mobil Producing Nigeria Unlimited by Seplat, an indigenous oil firm, was a regulatory matter. The transaction entails the acquisition of ExxonMobil Nigeria's entire offshore shallow water business. ExxonMobil Nigeria's shallow water business is an established, high-quality operation with a highly skilled local operating team and a track record of safe operations, producing 95,000 barrels per day in 2020. However, NNPC had opted to exercise its right of first refusal on the sale of the assets. Well, that's the story now, and we'll be talking about this, but before that, we'll take a short time out. When we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us. You're watching Analyst Hangout.